Welcome to the BizFlex platform. In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to manage your invoice, create a new invoice, complete your invoice settings, send invoice to your client, and also how your client can make invoice settlements. Kindly note that for the sake of this tutorial, we're going to be utilizing our web app version. It's still the same process when you make use of the mobile app version. To download our mobile app, simply navigate to the Play Store and search for BizFlex Africa. And then you can download the app and create your account or log into your existing account to create an invoice. Now, as a new user, the first thing you want to do is to complete your invoice setting. But first, you navigate to the invoice menu and then you navigate to the settings area. This is a very important process, very, very important process. I have already set up this account, so I will just show you how I did it. So say I want to make our business name John Taylor, you could just click on tap to change, this tap to change, and you'll be able to edit John Taylor, right? And then if you want to edit the address, all you just do is click on the tab to change again, and then you'll be able to edit the address. If you want to add your logo, click on the upload logo icon here, and then you'll be able to upload the logo. And you can change your invoice color to whatever suits your brand. For instance, if I want to use this invoice color, I'll do that. And of course, I've selected an account where I want all my money to go to. Now, kindly note that with BizFlex Invoice, an account would be created for you within the BizFlex application. Now, that account, you can use it for so many things, right? And then that's where every funds that is being collected from your clients gets remitted to. And then from there, you can send the money wherever you want to. So you can see how my invoice look like. I can change it. If I don't like that color, let's come back here and then say I want to use this color, right? You can see I've changed the color, and we have different templates of invoice based on what you want to do. But I'll go with this first template, and I proceed to click on save. So you can see operation save. The next thing I want to do now is to proceed to creating a new invoice. I just simply go back to the invoice page. But before we dive into creating a new invoice, let me enlighten us on what these buttons are for. Now, the invoice draft. Now, this is the place where all the invoice you've created previously that you've not sent to your client, this is where it's being stored. So you can come back here, view the invoice, edit it, and send it back to your client. And then client list. This is where you add all your clients. So for instance, if you have the contact and the details of all your clients, to make it easy for you to create invoice, you can add them, to your client list. And then whenever you want to create invoice in the future, it's easier for you to just access, and then you'll be able to add clients. So to add clients, just click on that add new client button, and then you'll be able to fill out this form. Now, kindly note that the only important form section here is the name and the phone number. Those are the required section. You can see the rest, the email is not that important, the address is not important, but if you have it, the better. Now, the next one is the product list. This is where you have all your product itemized. Now, if you sell a lot of products, if you're a fashion designer, an e-commerce person, you sell products online, whatever you do, you can add each of your products and the quantity, and then you'd be able to keep stock of how much you've sold. Like for instance, I want to add shoes, right? Say the shoes are 20 naira. I have 100 of this stock available. Add it. So you can see I've added shoes 20 naira, 100 units available, right? Or 100 pieces available. So the next thing I want to do now is to add my client, right? Or let's navigate back to this place, create a new invoice. Now you want to add your client. You add your client, and I've already added the client. So let me just go with one of the clients I've added. I select this client and I proceed, right? Now I cannot add two clients to an invoice. You only can add one client to a particular invoice. So the next thing I want to do is add product. So, okay, this client wants to buy shoes. Let's say two pieces. You can see it was 100 naira before, 100 units before. But when I selected, oh, I want to sell two, quantity two, it's reduced. So that's one of the benefits of BizFlex Invoice. It helps you keep track of how you are selling. Right? Proceed. You can see I've added shoes. Let me add one more product. Say I want to add the Gucci bags, 15 naira. Okay, I have 1,000 units of stocks remaining. Let me add one. You can see the number is reduced, and then I've added it. Now I want to now proceed to selecting the due date. Let me say I want the invoice to be due. I can decide to say I want it to be due today, or I can decide to say I want it to be due in the next 3 days, right? I just select it like that. And this is where if you want to add comment or add a message to the invoice so that your client can see, you can just come here. For the sake of this test, I'll just say, thank you for your right? You can add as much content as you want to. And if you want to add your shipping fee, you can go ahead and add your shipping fee. Let's say 10 naira is my shipping fee. And if you want to add tax, right? You can go ahead and add tax. If you want to add invoice, you can go ahead and add discount. You can go ahead and add discount. Let me say I want to give a 5% discount, right? Now, one beautiful thing about BizFlex invoices, you can enable partial payment. So if you want the clients to, pay 50/70, 50/50 or 30/70 or whatever, you can enable this. But for the sake of this invoice, I won't go into this. I would specifically make another content for this particular, feature. But let's proceed now and confirm. You can see we've added everything, but our grand total is still showing 0. So what you want to do is to confirm calculation. What the system would now do is calculate everything and then give you what the final figure is. You can see 19 naira is the total. You have 10 naira shipping fee. You give a 5% discount. So that's 5% of 19 naira. That's 4.5 naira. And you can see what the grand total looks like, including the shipping. So you've successfully created this invoice. You can even go ahead and preview here. You can see Gucci bag 1, 15 naira, shoes 2. If you remember, 14 naira. They're 20 naira. And you can see all the old calculations here being sorted by the system. Right? Then you proceed. Now, from here, you can decide to save this invoice to draft if you don't want to send it to the client yet, or you can proceed to send the invoice to the client immediately from this place, right? Now, for the sake of this invoice, I want to send this invoice to this client. I click on send invoice. Now, I've clicked on send invoice. You can see it brought out the client. This is my email address. It brought out the client email and then the phone number, right? Now, with this, you don't need to do anything. Now, unlike other platform, you would have to now, once you created the invoice, you now have to download it and then send it to the client. With our platform, you do not need to do this. Now, even though you didn't provide an email address, right, you can still send the invoice to the phone number. So we've developed a system whereby we can send an invoice to the client's phone number and the client will be able to receive the invoice and still make payment. So I'll proceed to just send the invoice. So you can see I've sent this invoice to this client. You can see it here, John Peters. I can preview the invoice if I want to, view invoice. So this is the invoice. You can see Gucci bag, shoes. You can see the grand total and all. I can still download it if I want to and then send. Now, the next thing I want to do is to show you how your client will receive the invoice. The client would have received the invoice by now. I want to show you how your client can go ahead and make payments for that invoice. So I just checked my SMS and I've received the invoice link, and that's the way your client will receive the invoice. On their through their phone number, or they can also check their email, the email you added, and then they will see the invoice there. So all I just need to do is click on that invoice link, and of course, it will take me to the invoice page. This is how your client would see the invoice we've created. This is how your client will see the invoice we've created. You can see the price here. This is how much the client will pay, the total amount. You can see all the invoice details, your business name, logo, color, and everything is being displayed. Even the invoice number, because this invoice number is also important. We can use it to track, the date, the due date, everything, the date you created the invoice, everything, it's being recorded on this invoice. Now, what your client will do is to go ahead and click on make payment. You click on make payment. Now, an account information have been generated to the client, to make payment. Kindly note that the amount on the invoice was 95 naira, but there's a 10 naira charges. However, this 10 naira charges is a test. Uh, BizFlex charges 100 naira per invoice settlement, regardless of the amount. You just charge 100 naira, right? But this is just for test purposes, so I just need to let you know. And if you notice, the invoice, the account name that was created for this payment is tied to the business name. You can see the business name we edited here is tied to the business name John Taylor BizFlex, right? And this is a dynamic account, and this account only lasts for 30 minutes. Now, your client needs to make payment into this account number, within this time frame, else this account number would get expired. So all your client need to do is go to their app, their banking app, search for 9 Payment Service Bank or 9 PSB, and then input this account number, and they will be able to confirm the name, this particular name that comes out here, and then they'll be able to now proceed to make this payment. They need to make the exact payment here. It's very important. So let's proceed to make payment. So I have made payment using my banking app. What the client needs to now do is to click on this confirm payment. Now, once the client is done making payment, they just click on this confirm payment. I click on the confirm payment now, and the client would have to wait for the payment to be confirmed, before they can now leave the page. So it takes less than 1 minute, sometimes 1 minute 30 seconds for the payment to be confirmed, and they'll be able to leave the page. So as you can see, this payment has been confirmed, payment is being processed, right? The client can now leave this page, and that's it. The client has paid for this invoice. So what you want to do now as the merchant is you would get a notification, an SMS notification, when the payment is fully reconciled into your account. You get an SMS notification. You can also check your email for the payment, and you can log into your dashboard to view the payment history. So let's navigate to your dashboard now to see if the payment came in. So as you can see that the payment came in, and the invoice has been updated to paid, right? Let's view the invoice again. So you see the invoice has been updated to paid. You can see the invoice. This invoice is now updated to paid. And how do you find the payment? All you just need to do is go to your transaction records, and you'd be able to find that particular payment there. You can see the 105 came in. Status, what's the status? Successful. You can see, so the charges that we removed, of course, you can see the stuff here. So you can view the invoice details to see, you can see successful payments came in, invoice settlement and all, right? John Taylor, I was the one that made the payment. You can see for John Taylor, right? So that is how you create an invoice, send the invoice to your client, and your client will be able to, make payment for that invoice without you lifting anything. You don't have to do anything. You can see the system has reconciled, your account has been credited, the client is happy, you've received notification, and everybody is good to go. BizFlex Invoice is one of the very, very robust invoice system you can find out there, and I encourage you to continue using it. Now, until I see you next time, I will be taking you on how to manage or use our payment links and other features on BizFlex. Thank you very much.